Alright, just finished watching Sankarea, and if you ask me, I thought that this was a good finale. Now that Rhea's dad is out of the picture, at least for now, this finale was more character-driven, emotion-driven. The setup for the finale I thought was really good. You know, after the events of last episode with Danichiro going to America and leaving Rhea in Chihiro's care, it pretty much left a lot in the air about the possibilities of each of the characters' relations and, you know, what they're gonna do now. In fact, throughout this entire episode, Chihiro was pretty much thinking all about Rhea and her condition and what he's gonna do about her. And since now that she's a zombie and that she's gonna someday rot, you know, he has to think about the now. Like, will I find a way to preserve her body? She's not going to school. Can she ever go to school? Can she ever have a normal life? It's stuff like that that Chihiro is pretty much worried about, and, you know, it just leaves a lot of possibilities to further expand their relationship. Now, what else happens in the episode proper is that there was going to be this fireworks festival, and that Rhea really wanted to go to this fireworks festival, but unfortunately it got cancelled due to rain, so they'll have to wait for it to come again next year. Or will they? Ranko comes in and suggests to Chihiro that, hey, maybe we should put on our own fireworks festival. And of course, Chihiro agrees because, well, you know, Rhea. Now, with Ranko appearing in this episode, I expected exploration of the love triangle, and in a way, they do. In fact, Ranko and Rhea share a scene together. As Ranko puts a yukata on Rhea in preparation for the fireworks festival that they're having, they basically have a conversation about how they feel about Chihiro, and this, if you ask me, was a pretty good highlight of the episode, mainly because we never really, you know, see Ranko and Rhea interacting with each other all that much. But now that this is pretty much the last episode of Sankarea, or at least for the first season, if they're making a second one in the future, they really let it all out for this finale, and I have to say, like, this is definitely one of the highlighted scenes of this entire show, if you ask me. Ranko outright admits that she loves Chihiro, while Rhea's like, I don't know if I have feelings for him, and Ranko's just like, no, okay, you are my rival, you're supposed to love him, come on, let's do this, let's have this love triangle thing. Because although that Ranko sees her as a rival for Chihiro's love, at the same time, she also knows that, hey, you know, you're not really gonna last forever. You're gonna go away eventually, and if you're gonna stay here for whatever time you have left, at least do it with no regrets and make the most out of it. And you know what? Normally, I don't like love triangles. I think love triangles can be, you know, too overdone. It could get really annoying and dragged on. There's just something about this potential love triangle between Ranko and Rhea that just feels right. Like, I don't feel like, okay, this girl deserves to be with that guy and not this other girl. I don't feel that way. If anything, I'm pretty much cheering for both. Cause for whatever reason, despite this being a zombie anime, it all feels human, you know? It doesn't feel overdone, it doesn't feel over the top, it just doesn't seem to feel like another anime love triangle. It feels focused, controlled, and steady. And you know what? This is a good change of pace. So if I have to give an exception to any anime love triangle, it would have to be this one. Now, to wrap up this overview, they have their fireworks festival, and I gotta say that seeing Rhea enjoy herself like she does, it's just really sweet. Rhea decides that she's going to school, goes back to her old house, and pretty much packs up her things. She comes across Arya, who pretty much goes ahead and says, I'm not going to help you one bit. Danichiro said not to, you know, do anything with you. And then in the final scene, we go back to the old building from the first episode where Chihiro was working on the potion and Rhea was screaming into a well, and talk about what they're going to do from now on. Chihiro wants Rhea to stay, while Rhea wants to live the rest of her zombie life to the fullest. And it all ends with Rhea going into zombie mode, pouncing on Chihiro, giving him a kiss as well as a bite, pretty much signaling a new beginning. And if you ask me, that was a satisfying conclusion. Well, that was Sankarea, and if you ask me, it was the second best anime I've seen in spring 2012. What I loved about this series is that it did something different with zombies. This isn't like a High School of the Dead with blood, guts, and killing. No, what this show did was execute a dramatic, comedic, and romantic spin on it all, with a bit of ecchi here and there. And based around all of this, it created a story filled with conflict, dilemmas, and emotion, filled with characters that you could like and characters you can hate, all the while being entertaining or even kind of funny. It can be lighthearted, it can be dark, but all the while providing revelations and resolutions. The animation was solid, the look of it all was nice with some eye-catching lighting, the voice acting did its job well, and the direction was good enough to handle things in exciting and impactful ways. Now for the bad, it would be the pacing in some parts of the series. There would be an episode dedicated to a certain character, and while it's good to use said episode to develop them, it got in the way of current events. For example, there would be an episode where Chihiro gets abducted at the end, and then we go to another episode where it's all about Mero and it has nothing to do with what happened, thus leaving you waiting a week just to see what happens next. So I got to fault it on story progression. Another thing is that while the ecchi in Sankarea isn't as bad as some other shows, it would sometimes get in the way of an episode's tone. Episode 11 being an example. It's all serious business at first, but then all of a sudden it decides that Rhea should be put into a bunny outfit. It just felt out of place compared to the rest of the episode. And now the last thing I have to fault is an issue concerning the love triangle this show set up. Now, I previously said that I'm liking the love triangle. The thing is, it's only now that it's ever being pushed. Throughout this entire series, they set up this love triangle between Chihiro, Rhea, and Ronko, but they never do anything with it until the end. They set it up, wait an episode, they bring it up again, but then all of a sudden, now you have to wait a few episodes to get through the Danichiro business, and when they do, it has been 11 episodes. If you set up a love triangle for all the time you have, use it. But still, aside from story pacing, missed opportunities, and a tone that could change on a whim, this show was really good. It had an interesting premise that was used effectively, drama that leaves its mark, a good cast of characters, and a love triangle that was handled well even if they didn't use it much. I hope they make a second season that continues the story, answers questions, and expands character relationships. I give Sankarea a 4 out of 5 or an 8 out of 10.